Good morning. It's Monday. It's all sunshiny here in Florida. And I feel a little tiny tinge of fall. Just a little tiny. It's not very cool, but there's a little tiny tinge of fall in the air. And I thank the Lord for it. I thank the Lord for His Word. You know, His perfect book. His perfect book. We're going to study it this morning. Want to? I'll share what I know. Chapter 22 in Exodus. If a man shall steal an ox or a sheep and kill it or sell it, he shall restore 5 oxen for an ox and 4 sheep for a sheep. Now, that's the judgment. If they prove he stolen that ox or sheep and he killed it or sold it, oh, 5 for one ox and 4 for a sheep. Why is that? Why would the Lord put that on him? He had all the trouble of finding out who stole his sheep, who stole his ox. He had all the trouble of not being able to plow his ground because somebody took his ox. And worrying over a sheep because he's a shepherd. And shepherds love each sheep, each one of them. So if he sells it, can't get it back. If he kills it, definitely can't get it back. So the Lord decided that he's going to have to pay 5 back or 4 sheep back. So it's going to cost him. And that's what the law was for, was to make you know it's going to cost you if you do it. Verse number 2. If a thief be found breaking up and be smitten that he die, there shall no blood be shed for him. If that thief gets pummeled over the head and it kills him, nobody's going to have to pay for that. He did it He did it on his own self. And that's warning against being a thief. If the sun be risen upon him, there shall be blood shed for him, for he should make full restitution. If he have nothing, then he shall be sold for his theft. So, if that first line there, if the sun be risen upon him, there shall be blood shed for him. Now, that sounds like if he's doing it in the daytime, and you can see him, he's not sneaking around, he's just stealing, then you shouldn't kill him. You shouldn't kill him. You should run him off or stop him. Because see, in the night, when he's breaking in the night, you can't, it's sneaky. You can't tell he's done it, or is doing it. But when it's in the daytime, you can see him. But if he's found, you stop him, don't kill him. He should make full restitution. If he have nothing, then he shall be sold for his theft. He's going to be turned into a slave. Verse 4. If the theft be certainly found in his hand alive, whether it be ox or ass or sheep, he shall restore double. So, I'm getting my ox back, but you got to give me one too. Now, some thieves don't have anything, but that was going to be the penalty of being caught with an ox or an ass or a sheep. You're going to restore double. If a man, verse 5, if a man shall cause a field or vineyard to be eaten, and shall put in his beast, and shall feed in another man's field, of the best of his own field and of the best of his own vineyard shall he make restitution. Well, why would a man put his beast into another man's field? I don't know. But if he did it, he's going to have to lose the best of his own field and the best of his own vineyard. He's going to have to make restitution. So restitution, restoring back to the person what you've taken, and sometimes more. Make restitution for the whole bad issue. And restitution is something that I believe in. I believe that if you've caused somebody harm, that you ought to make it right. And I believe that God expects us to make it right. And the law is telling us that if you've stolen something of somebody's, give it back to them, and maybe give them extra for their trouble, because it probably caused them trouble. So that's making restitution. Restoring what you gave, what you took, and give them a little bit more, or give them some more, maybe not a little bit, maybe more, a lot more, maybe double, maybe 5 times as much, maybe 4 times as much. You're making restitution. So you are not you're not something that's a detriment to them. You are turning out to be a blessing. Verse 6, if fire break out and catch in thorns, so that the stacks of corn or the standing corn or the field be consumed therewith, he that kindled the fire shall make restitution. So you start a fire and it jumps over the fence and goes to your neighbor's standing corn, or the field where he's got something planted, and it ruins his crop. You got to pay for that crop. Be careful when you kindle a fire. Verse 7. I don't know why I'm saying chapter, but it's Monday. If a man shall deliver unto his neighbor money or stuff to keep, and it be stolen out of the man's house, if the thief be found, let him pay double. Okay, same situation about when he was stealing the ox or the ass or the sheep in somebody's house. If the thief be not found, then the master of the house shall be brought unto the judges to see whether he hath put his hand unto his neighbor's goods. It's possible he stole it, and they've got to bring him to the judges and let them determine whether he stole it or it was a real thief from outside, because he'd be a thief if he stole it. So that was God's judgment, is you make sure, and that way once the judges judge the situation, he didn't take it, then you can still be a neighbor. You still have good fellowship and not always feel like he stole your stuff. And he can know that you are not suspicious of him. So that was good judgment, wasn't it? Verse 9, for all manner of trespass, whether it be for ox, for ass, for sheep, for raiment, or for any manner of lost thing which another challengeth to be his, the cause of both parties shall come before the judges, and whom the judges shall condemn, he shall pay double unto his neighbor. If a man deliver unto his neighbor an ass or an ox or a sheep or any beast to keep, and it die or be hurt or driven away, no man seeing it, then shall an oath of the Lord be between them both, that he hath not put his hand unto his neighbor's goods, and the owner of it shall accept thereof, and it shall not be made, he shall not make it good. And if it be stolen from him, he shall make restitution unto the owner thereof. So it seems like even if somebody gives you something to keep, and it die or be hurt or driven away, or it's gone, no man seeing it, even though you make that vow of the Lord between you, you don't have to make it good. But if it be stolen from him, he shall make restitution unto the owner thereof. In other words, if somebody gives you something to keep, you need to take care of it. You need to not let anybody steal it. You need to take care of making sure that it's kept good. If it be torn in pieces, then let him bring it for witness, and he shall not make good that which was torn. So if it was something that a wild animal coming upon it and tearing it to pieces, then he doesn't have to make it good. Wow, there's judgments for particular cases, and that's what God wanted. He wanted us to treat each other right and do the best we could to keep good fellowship between each other. Verse 14, and if a man borrow aught of his neighbor, and it be hurt or die, the owner thereof being not with it, he shall surely make it good. But if the owner thereof be with it, he shall not make it good. If it be an hired thing, it came for his hire. So the owner of whatever it is, if he borrowed a sheep, or borrowed an ox, borrowed a camel or something, it says if he borrowed it and he's with it, he shall not make it good if something happens to it. If it dies or is hurt. But if the owner's not with it, then he's got to make it good, because it's his fault. If the owner was with it, it's the owner's fault. But if he's the only one with it, he's got to make it good. And if the owner was with it, if it be an hired thing, it came for his hire. So that's the judgment about that. And I'm sure there were situations where they had to use that judgment. And verse 16 says, and if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed, and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. If her father utterly refuse to give her unto him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins. So, a man enticing a maid, she's not betrothed, she's not already promised to some man. Then, if he entices her and lies with her, he's got to make her his wife. And if her father doesn't want that man to be his son-in-law, because of what he's done to his daughter, he still is going to have to pay money according to the dowry of virgins. He's going to have to pay for taking her virginity. Doesn't that seem right? And it's enticing her. It isn't making her. It isn't rape. But it's him, seducing her. Giving her reason to believe he loves her. And anyhow, but her father doesn't want her married to that man, because he doesn't believe that man's a good man. So he's just going to say, okay, you know what law says, give me the dowry. Okay, verse 18. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. Are there such a thing as witches? You know there is. You know there is such a thing as a witch. A person that has sold their soul to the devil and allowed him to use them any way he wants to, and even worship the devil. Yes. There are, from what I have heard, there are devil churches where they worship the devil and where the women become witches. From what we know about the word witch, it's usually a woman. And then they call a man that does that a warlock. And God said, don't suffer a witch to live. If you know a witch, and we talk about witches, we look over here in where Saul went to the witch of Endor. Witch, a woman that sold to the devil, that that doesn't love God, but does worship the devil and works for him. And God said, don't let them live. Now, in the New Testament, is that the same way it is? I think it is, because pray for that witch to get saved, delivered. If you know somebody that's a witch, pray for them to be delivered. Seek God for them to be delivered. And then that witch won't live. Yeah, she'll go down in baptism and die with Christ and come up a new creature. So it's still in effect, not suffering a witch to live. That doesn't mean you go kill a witch. It means you pray for that witch until that witch repents and is saved, because they can be saved. A witch can be saved through the blood of Christ. You know, when somebody that's full of the devil, like Legion was in the New Testament, he was full of the devil. He had so many devils that when they came out of him, they killed a whole herd of hogs, swine. So he was full of the devil. But when they came out of him, because Jesus said to, he was sitting at Jesus' feet, clothed and in his right mind. So the Lord's blood is powerful. The devil don't want to have anything to do with it. But a person that is a witch might decide she does, and might invite Jesus to apply his blood to her life. And when the blood comes, the devil's going to leave. If I'm speaking to somebody that is a witch, you can be saved. If you'll humble yourself and ask Jesus to forgive you, he'll take his blood and he'll wash the devil out of your life and give you a new life. And the witch won't live, but you will. And you'll be saved to the uttermost. He'll sanctify you. He'll fill you with the Holy Ghost and fire. He'll give you such a life. And you will testify that how he delivered you, and maybe some other witches can be delivered. I don't know if I'm speaking to one, but if I am, you can be delivered. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. Verse 19 says, whosoever lieth with a beast shall surely be put to death. So there's all kinds of perversions in the human race. And a lot of them are sexual perversions. And this is one of them, lying with a beast. The enemy will, the devil is crazy. The devil is full of mischief, bad mischief. And that's bad mischief right there, having a person to lie down with a beast. But he said in the law that he'll be put to death. 20. He that sacrificeth unto any god, save unto the Lord only, he shall be utterly destroyed. So the worship of other gods was strictly forbidden in the Old Testament. Is it in the New? Yes. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy mind, with all thy strength. And thy neighbor as thyself is what Jesus taught. Okay, I'm going to go, and I will pick up tomorrow on verse 21. God bless you.